Welcome to the Neuromuscular Junction. My name is Mark Tarnopolsky, and today we're going to talk about balance. So with balance, there's a whole bunch of things that go into balance. First of all, in our brain, we have part of the brain called the cerebellum. The cerebellum's job is to integrate all of the different inputs that we have, our hearing, our sight, and things called proprioception, which all feed into the cerebellum to tell us what our body is doing. So proprioception is an interesting concept. In our joints, for example, in our feet, our knees, our hips, we have sensors which essentially tell our brain what's going on. So if I go like this, forward and back, the sensors in my feet are sending signals up to my brain to tell me what's going on. In addition, my eyes can help me to know whether I'm going forward or back, which is why some of you, if it's dark, for example, you lose the vision, and then if my eyes are closed, I'm relying mostly on my proprioception, as well as a little bit of my inner ears. To some extent, I'm also relying on my hearing too. I can hear stuff in the background that's helping me to stay upright. So if any of those pathways are messed up, balance exercises can certainly be of some benefit. One of the things, however, to be careful of is if you do have really poor balance, things like making sure there's a night light at night so that you can use your eyes and you don't rely solely on proprioception is important, especially if you have something like peripheral neuropathy, which is very common, where you just don't perceive the proprioception. So a night light is one strategy. The other issue with balance is to have assistive devices. So you can still get out and do your hiking, and we're going to show you how to do this, even if you have balance problems, using things like trekking poles, so that the poles can help you to feel the ground and allow you to go out for a walk, even if you might have some balance issues. However, just like muscles and the heart can all train, there are various ways that we can actually improve our balance. And the best way to improve your balance is to train your balance so that you'll have a lower fall risk. So I have Erin here who's going to show us some balance type of activities that you can do. Now certainly when you start off, she's got a chair beside her here, and I would encourage all of you to start off holding on to something. We don't want you to do something that's too much for you and to fall and hurt yourself. So if you can show us some of the exercises that we normally do. So now what she's doing is lifting up her one foot. So it's a little harder to be on one foot than two, of course. And that's a very simple thing. Now, if you're a little bit wobbly like this, make sure you hold on to the chair. Okay? Good. Now, the other thing that can help from a balance perspective, as Erin was doing, is look straight off into the distance. Sometimes if you look down, it's even worse, but if you look into the distance, it makes it easier. So can you show us some other things that you're doing here? Okay, so this is almost what we call a tick-tock, going from side to side. And again, that's a little bit more advanced because you're not holding on when you're doing it. Now her feet are together. And as you probably remember, when you go to a neurologist, this is one of the tests we do. We have the feet together. Now the next part of this, and again, don't do this if you feel uncomfortable, and I would encourage you to do this holding onto a chair at first if you close your eyes. So now she's relying on her proprioception from her feet to tell her what's going on. Now if you have severe neuropathy, don't do this. This is what we call the Romberg test. Okay, good. Another thing you can do is to put your feet in front. So this is essentially a tandem stance. And in neurology, we test people's tandem gait when they're going forward. And you can even try going backwards. So you can put your foot forward and then go backwards as well. Excellent, good. And this is another thing that she's showing us here. I sometimes call this around the clock. Great, and you can sometimes also take your foot and, for example, spell your name. So draw an Erin. Perfect. Good. And then you can do that with the right foot and the left foot. So doing that every day is significantly going to improve your balance, and it's going to lessen your fall risk. Now, of course, things like having proper footwear, which we're going to talk about in subsequent videos, orthotics if you have issues with your feet, will help to stabilize you. And for some people, if you have weakness, things like an ankle foot orthosis might also help as well, because if you've got a lot of weakness there, even though you might have great proprioception, if your muscles are weak, you're going to have a high fall risk. So stabilization, sometimes it really will help you as well. Good. Thanks so much. Good. So for more advanced balance training, once you've mastered some of the things that Erin was showing you, I have Kristen here who's going to show us some more advanced techniques. So Kristen's going to show us a thing called a Bosu ball. Can you show us what it looks like? Right, so you can see how it's got a rounded bottom, and that's going to make your position of balance a little bit more unstable. Some of these come with wood on the bottom or plastic, which on a hard surface can make it really challenging. So if you can show us some of the activities you can do. So you can see how unstable this is. Now, after a period of time, it's amazing how easy this becomes. And very much like Aaron was looking off into the distance, you can see how Kristen's doing that as well. That'll help you with your stability. If you look at your feet, it actually makes you a little bit more unstable. And then you can do very much similar things to what Aaron was doing, more of a tandem stance. But this definitely is more of an advanced type of balance training. And please master what Aaron was showing you with the simple things first before you do something that our superstar Kristen here is showing us. As a former elite athlete, she's pretty skilled at this. I still have a challenge with it, but it's something that even as we get older, improving your balance is really important to decrease fall risk and improve your quality of life. So thanks very much. Hopefully you've learned something about balance training. Be sure to do this on a daily basis. Again, do it in front of the television. Do it when you're convenient. And having these things around the television, for example, you'll remember to do it every night. And that's what I certainly do at home, so that I see it there. Oh, I'm going to do my balance exercises at night before I go to bed. Thanks very much, and thank you for subscribing. And we look forward to seeing you on a subsequent episode.